Ladies and gentlemen, Tata Consultancy Services or TCS has recently laid off nearly 20,000 people. But why? Before we talk about that, we gotta talk about the lies that these motherfuckers have said, particularly the Chief HR Officer Sudeep Kunnamal. This guy said that they did not lay off 20,000 people. He said, as we speak today, I have to do the accent. As we speak, no, I'm not going to do the accent. As we speak today, we are close to 1% of people that we have released. Is that what we are calling it now? Initially, it was laid off, then it was affected by the restructuring, and now they have released. In the mid and senior level, whom we could not redeploy in the right role. And you have to pay some attention about what this guy has said. This guy, Sudeep Kunnamal, he said in mid and senior level. So the 1% of people who were told by TCS to fuck off, they belong in the mid and senior level. And when asked to confirm if 1% equated to approximately 6,000 individuals, because their total strength was a little bit more than 600,000, Kunnamal responded yes, right at the mid and senior level segment. So he is fixated on the mid and senior level thing. So in mid and senior level, there were like 1% of firings or layoffs, not releases, and the rest of the 14,000 or 13,000 change people, they were fired from other level segments apart from mid and senior level. Now the reason, let's go talk about the reason. I really don't understand why these motherfuckers lie, because in today's day and age, if you're Tata Consultancy Services, people are going to take a notice if your head count is significantly reduced. Right, like all of these PTI reports, they are in the public domain, so I don't really understand why this guy bothered to lie in the first place. But anyway, that's not the important thing. These motherfuckers lie all the time. He is paid to lie. All of the HR people, all of the people with MBA, that's what they do. And that's not the problem at all. That's not what I was started to create this video. The point is, we need to discuss why that happened, and the reason is not just AI. Obviously, AI is, changing the way we work and changing the amount of people required to complete a particular project. So the number of people in a team reduces, and if you consider a couple of headcounts reducing in one team over a big multinational company like TCS, there are going to be thousands of people who will be laid off. So obviously part of the reason is AI, but another part of the reason is that there are a lot of losers and lazy people working in TCS. There was a time in which people said that working in TCS is like getting a government job. And that was true, because a lot of the people in the mid and senior level segment, a lot of these people, they would just go, punch in, chill, have lunch, chill again, and then punch out and go home. And a lot of the people in that sector have been fired because they have been doing nothing and taking lakhs of salary by sitting on their asses. A lot of the people with 20-25 years of experience in TCS who have been in who have, I think, joined the company from a very long time, around also like employees with 10 to 15 years of experience who have joined in early 2010s. The 2010s were like the golden age of IT for India's IT industry, right? This was the time in which TCS, Infosys, and these companies were hiring people like crazy. And TCS used to be like one of the safest options because they didn't lay off people. You could virtually sit on the bench for as long as possible and the company is going to pay you. During COVID, some of my friends got hired in TCS, and they were sitting in the bench for nearly 2 years, and TCS paid their salaries. But unfortunately, all good things come to an end. And finally, TCS has decided that, you know what? Everybody is telling their workers to fuck off. We got to do the same. And there are a lot of people who are sitting on their asses and doing nothing. And a lot of them are in the mid to senior level. They're like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years of experience, and these motherfuckers are not doing anything. Obviously, they're too old to be retrained, too old to be redeployed in a different type of team with a different tech stack, with different project requirements, because these guys are losers. They haven't really done anything for the past few years. They have just been taking the money from the company for other people's hard work. So let's just fire them. So that's like the second reason. And the third reason is technological innovations in general. A long time ago, I mean, not a long time ago, but like I think 7 to 8 years ago, the structures of companies started to change. And like rather than having like a waterfall structure, like a top-down structure, companies started to operate in small teams. And that internal restructuring change happened to be more efficient. Now TCS, Infosys, and all this type of huge companies also adopted this, and they have found success. And because of that, that became their new way of working. And because of that, the old way of working has to be phased out in a certain type of way. And that's where some of these layoffs also come in. So a lot of people who are stuck in the old workflows and stuck in the old processes, who cannot be retrained, they were fired. And then obviously people who were hired, not people who are hired, everyone who has been laid off was hired. But a lot of people who were hired, but they were sitting on the bench and didn't have that big of projects, they definitely got laid off as well. And also the budget for every project, like the clients, TCS is a consultancy company and they have like clients from across the world. The clients actually reduce their budgets, they are not going to pay that much money for a particular project. And the only way TCS can retain its profits is by laying off like the team members in that project team. So let's say there's a project of 10 people are working on that project for a client abroad. TCS suddenly sees that the client is reducing its budget, the amount of money they are paying TCS. So in order to retain its own profit, TCS will fire a couple of people from the project or put them on the bench, like so that the amount that paid by the client is profitable to TCS, and also they can pay the salaries of the people who are working. And like that, the amount of people who sit on the bench continually increased. And I think not last year or early this year, early 2025 or late 2024, TCS changed its on-bench policies. I think you cannot sit on the bench for more than like 35 days or like some ridiculously reduced amount of days. And this is also another trend that is happening in other consultancy companies. What they do is they put you on the bench. They don't give you any kind of project. They just say that you are not talented enough, or people who are more skilled have been chosen to work on the project. Kind of like the rejection mails that you get from companies after you apply for a job. So it's basically like that, but you're technically employed. So you're sitting on the bench, and people who are allegedly more talented than you and more suited for a particular type of project will get to work on those projects. And eventually a few months will accumulate and your overall rating in the company drops. And then when the layoff season comes, your name is at the top of the list because you haven't been assigned a project, because you have been sitting on the ass. Because according to the company, people who are more suitable to work on projects got the projects. You didn't get any project. That's a very nasty tactic. They will put you on the bench for a couple of months, and then they'll tell you that, hey, your rating is low because you haven't generated any value for the organization. And when you say that you haven't given me any project to work on, they will be like, well, your skills are not high enough to work on the project. That's why other people who are more skilled were chosen for that instead of you. So it's all a fucked up mind game that these consultancy companies are playing in order to get away with, firing their employees. They just give you a nice severance package, not a nice severance package, but a severance package, and then just basically tell you to fuck off. I read this on Reddit. Some guy with 27 years of experience, probably a loser. This guy was fired from TCS because, based on the post, based on his English knowledge, I could tell that this guy did nothing but wrote emails to sound important and used big words to sound smart. A lot of the people are like that, but at the same time, if you're working in any of these kind of big companies and are afraid of layoffs, you have to make sure that you got a project at hand. You got to make sure that you are generating value for the organization. You have to show up in office. You have to maintain relationships with your seniors and managers and all these type of people, because I mean, if not, when layoff season comes, you're not even going to be even in consideration to remain in the company. I hope this helps you. I don't know how, but I hope this helps you. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.